Okay, do you want to learn how to take your backyard from an ugly patch of grass to a gorgeous planting bed complete with a patio and chairs and a fire pit and beautiful plants? Well, let me share with you what I did. In March of this year, we undertook a complete backyard renovation. We had this ugly patch of grass in the backyard that took a lot of work to keep looking beautiful, and we ripped it out. We completely removed it and all of the plants that we didn't like that were here from the existing owners, things like society garlic, which I can't stand. And we worked with a designer, a landscape designer, to create a completely different look and feel. So you see here just all these, patchy grasses that just never really filled in and looked good unless we really worked hard and used a lot of chemicals on it and a lot of water. And here where we live in hot, dry zone 9B, it took too much water. So what we did was we took out all the grass and leveled all of the dirt and started putting in a flagstone path and patio. So you see that here. We've got our flagstone laid out. We have about a 14-foot diameter patio and about a 3-foot wide path that goes all the way around. We kept the existing beds and existing hardscape and just worked around what we already had. So that's what you see here. And we just laid it out. We didn't spend a whole lot of time. I mean, yes, we've got sand that we placed it on, but we didn't spend a whole lot of time. It's not perfect. We didn't use a level. We just put them and laid them out however we felt like it. And then we just filled it in with locking sand. We didn't use that special sand. I'm blanking on the name right now because we wanted it to be permeable. We got a landscape rebate from our city, and one of the criteria was that we have to use a permeable solution. And if we had used that other stuff, there's no way we would have gotten the rebate. And then we, at the same time, for another rebate, converted all of our sprinklers to drip. So what you see here is us doing the initial laying out. Once the flagstone was all set and ready to go, we started laying out drip. We had a couple false starts, and we had to redo and rethink about it and retool it. But we, looked and tried our best to do great coverage, and we kept going. In retrospect, I may have wanted to put the plants first, then the drip. It probably would have worked better because what happens is that your eye naturally wants to put a plant in between the pipes, those brown drip lines. And that's not what you want. You actually want the plants right at the drip line. So that's the way it goes. We laid out the plants. I didn't take as many pictures of this step, unfortunately, but you'll see that we placed them where we thought we'd want them. And then we planted them and top dressed with yummy organic compost to really help fill in our pretty pathetic native soil, which is like hard pan. So we did 5 yards of compost spread out over the entire backyard. So you see that here, and I just top dressed it, put it right on top of the drip. I tested the drip, of course. You never want to put any compost or mulch until you're sure the drip is functioning the way that you want. And we continued to tweak and hone. We had all of our original, I think we started with 200 plants, and we did need to, dig quite a few holes and reconfigure a lot of the drip to work with all of those plants. So you'll see here that some of the plants look like they don't have a drip near them. They do. And then we also needed to fill in some of the bare spots. When I had all those 200 plants in, I noticed that we needed some more. So I went and got some more. My mom brought me some, and then we spread 5 yards of mulch over everything. So we mulched our little hearts out. So you see that here. I got one from our local landscape called Walk On, which is really basically wood chips of varying sizes. And I find that it really helps with moisture and retention and making sure that the plants don't need to be watered as often. And in fact, I lost a few plants because I think I'm watering too much. And our weird, spring, it's been raining. It's June 7th, and we had a huge thunder and rainstorm yesterday, which is unheard of in Northern California for June, at least where we are. That's just really unusual. So here we are, 5 yards of mulch, all the drip, all the plants planted, and now, it's just a matter of getting them all in, filling in any bare spots. I actually moved quite a few of my original plants. I didn't like where they were, or I planted them too deep, or I planted them too close. So we did a little bit of digging up and positioning them. And my husband's really thrilled with me. And we also had some drainage issues, so we had to fix that. We also found some places where we didn't cap off the sprinklers well enough. But finally, we got to this space where we could just monitor all of the plants and just keep an eye on them, making sure the drip is working properly, no puddling, no, oversaturation or undersaturation. I use a moisture reader for all of this because I find that's the most reliable way to gauge if the moisture is getting down to the roots where your plants need them. But this is a really important time. And of course, we went away on vacation and I fretted the entire time about all of my plants. I also went up and added some annuals. So proven winners. I love their Vista Supertunia series and also just the regular Supertunia series, not the Vista series, just for some color and reliability. So as my perennials fill in, then I can back off on using annuals. But for now, that pop of purple, and they'll continue to fill in, gives me some of that color that I think is missing, while the other things, are still revving up, so to speak. And man, that jazzberry just gives it a gorgeous color. I also added some solar lighting, so at night when we want to use the fire pit, I can easily walk out and not worry about tripping. So you see here, we're finally in a stage where we can just enjoy our garden and sit out on our patio and just look at all the hard work and beautiful plants as they continue to grow and fill in.